Assalamualaikum and good morning. Today we are from CE3 Group 29. We present to you our chemical engineering lab project which is titled Neutralization in Textile Industry using pH control system. This is our team members which consists of Wang Pensun, Nurul Afifah, Batrisha Bakis and myself Muhammad Fakri Aidil. Textile dyeing is the world's second largest polluter of water, and the fashion industry accounts for 20% of global wastewater. It has an impact on the environment, wildlife, human food security, and soil contamination. Cotton production uses 2.8% of the world's water and is heavily reliant on pesticides, herbicides, and fertilizers. Thus, wastewater treatment process plays a very vital role in the continuous production of clear and good quality of water. There are 4 common ways to treat wastewater, which include physical, biological, chemical, and sludge treatment. One of the chemical wastewater treatment method is pH neutralization process. pH neutralization function is to modify the pH of the wastewater treatment system to match the needs of the various processing units. Nevertheless, there are still a lot of limitations to the pH neutralization system, such as the inherent non-linearity and high sensitivity near neutral point. Tremendous development in population and economic activity leads to waste disposal from wastewater treatment industries to rise. The disposal of this waste continues to pose a severe threat to the environment. Although industries are currently moving to a zero waste approach, however, the efficiency of this approach has always been a question. The textile industry's pollution has a significant influence on the environment, and the causes are simple to comprehend. Every year, around 90 million pieces of clothing end up in landfills throughout the world. The textile industry's evolution is also a key source of concern. Pollutants are emitted into the air by boilers, thermopads, and diesel generators. Numerous potentially fatal untreated pollutants can pollute the air as fabrics progress through the manufacturing process. The objective for this project are to study the current practices for wastewater treatment of textile industry, to analyze the effective waste control system that can be applied to textile effluent treatment, to study the type of control system involved in the pH neutralization process and justify the implementation of the control system, to determine the challenges faced in using process control systems, and to recommend the improvements to minimize process control problems.
Hello, I am Batrisha Balkis binti Abdul Aziz and I will talk about the process control system and justification part. First of all, the definition of pH neutralization process is the process that can be thought of as a continuous stir-tank reactor that uses a control valve to neutralize a strong acid with a strong base, in which a strong base control flow is used to neutralize acidic liquid inflow in terms of achieving neutral outflow. Other than that, the major goals of pH neutralization are to safeguard the population of the negative effects of less river preservation. Therefore, the effectiveness of pH control strategies, particularly in the neutralization process, has been extensively researched. Next, for the pH control process, it has its own particular characteristic, the most notable of which is a neutralization or titration curve. The typical S or Z-shaped titration curve that defines the steady-state characteristic of a pH process is the negative logarithm of hydrogen ion concentration, and the gain of a pH process can vary by up to a factor of 10 each pH unit, as determined by the equation 1 as shown in this slide, where H plus is hydrogen ion concentration of the solution gram moles per liter. Lastly, pH control system considered successful when process components are properly constructed. The region delivery system must consistently supply an incredibly broad range of flow rates, and the instruments must be correctly chosen.
The PID controller, which is also known as a proportional integral derivative controller, is a device that regulates temperature, flow, pressure, speed, and other process variables in the industrial control applications. The most often used PID algorithm is feedback controller, and for the guiding a system to a desired location or level. It is almost widespread as a temperature controller, which employs closed-loop control feedback to maintain a process output growth as close as feasible to the target or set point output. The method that can be used to determine the gains of the PID controller is trial and error. The trial and error method is a procedure that when the I and D terms are set to 0, then the proportional gain is increased until the loop's output oscillates. The integral term is increased to end the oscillations once the P has been set to the required quick response. Then the integral term decreases steady-state error while increasing overshoot. A rapid system must always have the same amount of overshoot in order to respond to the changes quickly. While to get a small steady-state error, the integral term will be modified, then the derivative term is increased until the loop is acceptable quick to its set point after the P and I have been set to get the required rapid control system with low steady-state error.
pH process control is known to be a very challenging issue in various industries and has gained significant attention due to its importance in chemical process industries. Therefore, in this section, we will proceed to the major challenges in pH process control. The first challenge identified is the non-linearity of the dynamics, which can be observed from a titration curve due to non-linear characteristics from the feed components or total concentrations of ions. This causes the curve to become distorted. And the next problem is low buffering. A buffer solution will resist changes in pH values during process of adding an acid or alkali by consumption of the buffer. When the buffer solution has fully reacted or depleted, the pH values will increase or decrease more significantly because it becomes less resistant to change, which is definitely not good for neutralization process whereby the equilibrium point has to be reached precisely and accurately. Therefore, several recommendations of process control has been made to overcome these challenges. The first recommendation is a fuzzy control system, which is based on a mathematical system called fuzzy logic. The next recommendation is an artificial neural network predictive control (NPC), which uses past inputs to predict plant output in the future. While the last recommendation is the model predictive control (MPC), proven to be one of the most effective and successful controllers, which determine control signal by solving optimization problem at each sampling interval. All three of these recommendations are proven by articles that they can solve the challenges of pH control mentioned earlier.
In conclusion, the investigation of zero waste management technique for pH neutralization textile wastewater treatment was effectively completed throughout the project's execution. In this project, PID controller is extensively discussed commercially as a controller mode for the pH control system in neutralization of wastewater in textile industry. Overall, Chemical Engineering Lab 3 project has given us understanding on textile wastewater treatment process, which is important because it plays a significant role in protecting humans and living things from the harmful contaminants that present inside the untreated wastewater. That's all from us. Thank you.